Hey guys, it's Harley. Today we're going to be talking about hanging plants. I kind of did a video about this when I showed you how we hang plants from the ceiling in my household. I have had a lot of questions about certain light requirement type of hanging plants since posting that video, so I thought I would do a more in-depth hanging plant video today. So that is what we're going to be doing, and really quickly I would just like to make a little note here. How do I say this? For some reason, people get all up in arms about light requirements in plants. Everything I state in this video is in my own experience, and it is extremely hard to, what's the word? It is extremely difficult to sum up the light requirements into specific categories. There are a lot of factors that play into the lighting that your plant is in. Of course, some plants are going to do better in higher light requirements, but they can survive in lower light. As an example, I'm Harley and I'm a human. I prefer it was summer all year round. I live my best life in the summer warm months, but I can survive winter. I do struggle a little bit through those cold winter months, but I survive. That was so stupid. You get the idea. The first category of plants I'm going to be talking about are blooming plants. Some of the plants I do discuss in later categories also bloom, but the blooms just aren't as impressive, or they don't happen as frequently as these ones. Number one blooming plant I'd like to talk about is a chenille plant. The chenille plant is really, really cool. It does prefer super bright direct light, and if it gets that, it will bloom repeatedly and repeatedly. The blooms are really, really unique and beautiful and cool. It reminds me of like something out of the Cat in the Hat. The blooms are just these long fuzzy things that hang down. They're so unique from anything else. Plus, I love the look of this plant as a hanging basket. It's a really cool, different shaped plant, you know? That's all I can really say there. So the next blooming plant I love is a lipstick plant. This is probably the plant I post the most about because it seriously is always in bloom. It does prefer super, super bright, pretty direct sunlight, although it can survive in a little bit lower light requirements as well. It just won't bloom as frequently. The leaves are very succulent and fleshy, and yeah, it's a really good one. And the last blooming plant I could recommend is a bridal veil vine. Mine currently isn't blooming. This typically happens later on in the summer, but it gets these cute little white, like they're so teeny little blooms, but they really, really pop against the dark green and deep purple foliage. Oh, it's just so delicate. They're so dainty and beautiful. And yeah, this is one that can do well in lower light, but again, for it to bloom, it needs higher light. This next category is the higher light loving plants. These plants prefer super, super bright indirect light for multiple hours a day, or some direct light or constant direct light. You know what I mean? Okay, anyway. The first plant I can recommend is a Cissus rhombifolia. This plant is so cool. It's also known as a grape ivy plant, I believe. Have really uniquely shaped leaves, but what I extra love about this plant is the little curly tendrils that grow out of the vine will cling to pretty much anything. This one does prefer direct light, so just keep that in mind, but it is a very fast grower. Next on the list is another Cissus. It is the Cissus rotundifolia. This one is a lot different from the last Cissus we talked about. This one has more round shaped leaves that are a little bit more fleshy, but again, it does have those little tendrils that grab onto everything. And again, this one does prefer direct sunlight, but it also grows really, really quickly. Next up is a ripsalis. This is one of my all-time favorite plants. I think it's so underrated and beautiful. This one changes color depending on the amount of light it gets. So if it gets more light, the edges of the plant will turn like a red purple. If it gets less light, then they turn green. This one's really easy to care for. It just has a really unique shape. So if you're wanting something different, I highly recommend this one, and it's really, really easy to care for. The next plant I'm talking about, it is the Kalanchoe panamensis. This one has a really cool shape. I don't see this one in hanging baskets that often for some reason. I love this one. It grows really quickly. The vines just kind of go everywhere. They do their own thing. It doesn't really have like a uniform shape, if you know what I mean. Highly recommend. Last plant I'm including in this category is another variety of lipstick plant, but it's actually the black pagoda kind. This one does bloom. The bloom blooms are just kind of not as substantial as some of the other lipstick plant varieties, but what I love about this one is with direct light, it grows really quickly and it has these beautiful, beautiful, intricate patterns on its leaves that seriously is unlike any other plant. I know I say that a lot, but for this one, it really is the case. I love this one. This next category are plants that prefer medium light. These are plants that don't need to sit on like a southern exposed window with direct sunlight all day. Number one in this category are Hoya plants. I love Hoyas. They're really beautiful. They're becoming extra popular. I know I caught the Hoya bug and now I have so many different varieties. Specifically, my favorite type of Hoya to keep as a hanging plant is a Hoya publicalis. These ones just look really cool as the vines grow out. They kind of twist around each other. I know other Hoyas will do that as well, but more specifically, I notice it on this one because the vines are a lot thinner than say like an obovautum or a tricolor or something like that. Lately with the warmer months, I've been noticing a lot of new growth on this one and it really clings to just whatever it possibly can. I love the publicalis as a hanging plant. It might be one of my top favorite hanging plants. The next like medium light loving plant that I love to have is a hanging planter. Why did I say that like that? The next plant in this category is a spider plant. I personally really love the Bonnie variety, so the more curly type spider plant. These ones are really cool to keep as hanging plants because when they shoot out their little plantlet baby things, they'll hang down. It has a really cool shape to it once the babies pop out. Next category of hanging plants are the lower light plants. Plants that can survive lower light conditions. So of course we have like the golden pothos in this category. The next plant in this category, we also would have like philodendron micans in this category that can do really well in low light. They're very beautiful. Scindapsus plants I love. Actually, there's one right here kind of hanging, a type of Scindapsus. These ones have a really cool shape. The leaves are a little bit thicker. They're kind of velvety looking. It's like a cross between a philodendron and between a heartleaf philodendron and then like a philodendron micans, which has a velvety look to them. So these ones are really cool and the leaves will get huge. And then the last plant that is kind of a lower light plant I've noticed is my philodendron Brazil. This one grows really quickly. Yeah. Those are all of my favorite hanging plants. Please leave a comment down below letting us know what plants you keep in hanging baskets in your house. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next one.